Good afternoon, Bernard, Obeden, and Isabella. Thank you for joining. Let's face 5 minutes, then we'll start.
Good afternoon, Mr. Derek.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you for joining. We'll start around 3:05 p.m. At 1:05 p.m. Just to um, let more people join before we start. Hello, can you confirm if you are still on the call? I think there is a slight issue. Okay, I think the call is still on. Abbas, can you make me the host? Hello?
Yeah, we are on a call, please.
Yeah, kindly make me the host. Okay, something happened, so
I'm not Abbas.
no, Abbas has been made host because I left the meeting and then I joined again.
Okay.
I think he's not online. Okay, anyway, I wish he would make me the host, then I start recording because I cannot guarantee that he's going to stay throughout the call. Hello, Abbas. Are you there? The system has been hijacked. All right. Okay, good afternoon to you all. Thank you for joining the call. My name is Derek, and this is our graphic design workshop. It's originally meant to be for the Communications and Media Committee for the Society of Petroleum Engineers, but we thought that it would pay much more if more people get to join because it's the same amount of energy we are going to use to teach that small group of people. That is how come everybody has access to it now. And without further ado, we'll head straight into it. But we thank God for an opportunity to be in His presence and to design, right? God is a designer, so we have to give Him the glory that He deserves. Amen. So, yesterday we went through a couple of, wow, this is going to be a big issue. This Abbas guy, hold on a second. I can't share my screen because okay, so I'm asking to be made host again. Very soon we'll start the real session. But yesterday, just to walk you through what happened yesterday, we went through the science of graphic design, and let me say the theory of graphic design, and we learned a lot of things. And some of the things we learned include, I want to share my screen. Okay, please give me just some seconds. I'll be made a host and I'll share my screen. Okay, while I'm waiting to be made host, yesterday we went through the theory of graphic design, and then we explained that a graphic design is a creative discipline which involves combining visual elements, typography, and then imagery to be able to communicate a message. And we understood that the essence of graphic design is to aid in communication. So wherever you see a graphic design, it's because there's some form of communication go on, and we want some form of communication going on, and then we want to enhance that communication with visuals so that it becomes appealing and easy to read. And we said graphic design is important because it helps in our branding and marketing. It also aids in communication. And to a large extent, it enhances user experience. And I give an example like, as first, if you use those who were born in the current generation, if they were alive at the time Facebook appeared, they wouldn't have so much fun or they wouldn't be so enthused about how it looked because it looked very, very hardcore coding. But now Facebook has very beautiful features and very nice interface, and it applies to several other designs. Back in the day when we were learning ICT in school, the Microsoft Word we used to use isn't the same as it is now. But now there are a lot of enhancements, a lot of features that make it beautiful or appealing to see. And this has been made possible because of graphic design. Graphic design is also used for education and learning. And I give an example that when we were young, we were only drawn towards the textbooks that had very beautiful pictures and nice designs in there. If there is a textbook, even when we grew up, if the textbook doesn't have too many pictures or too many, it doesn't have too many pictures or it has only text, it's very boring to read. And that is a power of graphic design. It enables or it gives us, it encourages us to read materials and also helps teachers to illustrate the things they are trying to communicate in a visual format so that students will be able to grab it early. And we mentioned that this graphic design can be applied in several areas. It can be applied in print design, for digital design, for brand and identity. It's used in advertising. It's used for designing user interfaces and user experience. It's used to design prototypes and the softwares that we use on our phones and our laptops. Before those things were created, they were designed visually. Also, we mentioned that even the buildings we are in, I mean, the buildings that we see around, they were once designed. They were once a design on paper or on a PC before they became the brick and mortar that we see. It is used for illustration like logos and okay, great. I can share my screen now. Okay, all of you can see my screen, right? Just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Okay, great. Let me use my WhatsApp before. So, yeah. Uh, okay. Um, I'm not sure which screen is being shared. Okay. Okay, good. Apologies for this slight delay. Yes, so we mentioned that you can use graphic design for your typography or illustrations for motion graphics. And this is an example of graphic design that has been printed. This is an example of design that is shared online. An example of graphic design as applied for branding and identity. This is a logo. This is a label of a honey jar, and this is the jar itself. Before, this is not a real product, right? This never came to reality. Hopefully, it's going to come to reality sometime, but it never came to reality. But before it could come to reality, this is how we designed this product to be, and it was made possible because of graphic design. It's used for advertising. It is graphic design is used for developing websites, just like this one. Uh, the font styles that we use in our Microsoft Word and our design processes, everything, they were designed by somebody, right? Somebody had to sit down, design curves for them to look like A, for them to look like B, C, D, up to Z, and the commas and the symbols, all of those things were designed with illustrations by the power of graphic design. This is a motion design that we did, and uh, let me play it just for it's about 30 seconds or so. I made this motion design with Canva, and like I said, I'm giving this example specifically because I want us to know the power of Canva in designing.
Mensa Sabah Hall Alumni Association and Mensa Sabah Hall 60th Anniversary Planning Committee, University of Ghana presents Vikings Alumni Celebrity Platform Lecture with Dr. Owusu-Efriye Akoto. Theme: Exploiting Agricultural Diversification to Fund Economic Development in Ghana. Date: 21st July 2023 at the City Conference Center, University of Ghana, Legon. Time is 3 p.m. sharp. In attendance will be Dr. Mohammed Ibn Chambers, former head UNOWA's chairperson, Dr. Grace Bediako, board chair, Ghana Statistical Service, guest of honor, and His Eminence, Francis Albert Seth Nyonyo, alumni president. This event is brought to you by the Mensa Sabah Hall alumni.
Okay, so there's a sound behind this motion design, but because I'm not presenting my screen, I don't know if you were able to hear the sound. We mentioned that as a graphic designer, some of your responsibilities include understanding what your clients want before you get to work. You should also be able to conceptualize your designs And then where necessary, you use a storyboard. And we gave an example of a storyboard like this. Before you do a design, maybe you design a wireframe or a software website. Before you design it, you should have a wireframe of what it's going to look like. This is what most software developers use. And this is an example of a wireframe. So if you pick a software, the first thing you see, how is it going to look like? When you click on the button, what's the next page going to look like? All of these things are conceptualized with storyboards. And we also said that you should be able to collaborate with your clients, and you shouldn't work alone as a designer. You should have other people within your circle you collaborate with. It could be your team members who you share design projects with. It could also be mentors who you are trying to learn from. It could also be people who you are teaching graphic design, but you would want their opinion on some of the works that you have done. Then we spoke about the principles and elements of graphic design, and this is where everybody has to pay attention, because without this, it doesn't matter how well versed you are with Photoshop or Canva or Affinity or Figma or any other software, you will not produce good designs, right? So what are the elements of design? We said we have lines, we have shapes, color, typography, texture, transparency, and space. An example, so this page you are seeing over here in itself is a design, right? And then we see most of the elements of design illustrated in this page. So when you look at this particular design or this particular page, you see that the background is white. It is smooth. It doesn't call for so much attention. But when you check this background, it has a certain kind of texture, right? Or a certain kind of paper feel or a paper look. That is what we mean by texture. This is a typical illustration of what texture can be like. We said line. This, although it is here, you will not immediately think of it as a line, or you not call it a line, right? It's part of the design. But when you think about this critically, this is a line. This is a line that has been positioned somewhere in a design to make it look like it's something else in a design. Shapes. This thing you are seeing over here is also a shape. It's a rectangle that has been rounded on its corners, right? But in this design, it is serving as a background for this guy over here. We also have color. There are different colors in here. We have orange, we have bright orange. I don't know colors, please. We have green, we have blue, we have various kinds of colors, and all of them come together to make the design. We also have typography. When you check here, this is the heading of the design. This is also the body of the design. But you realize that this font style or this body font style is different from this, right? And then transparency. When you check this thing, you realize that although this element, you can see it, you can also see this background slightly in there. It is achieved because it is possible because we made this one a little transparent. We made this one a little transparent to be able to enable us see through it. And you can apply transparency in several ways in your design. And then there's also space. We mentioned that there are negative spaces and white spaces, positive spaces and then negative spaces or white spaces. Negative spaces are the areas of your design that are empty. So this area of the design is a negative space. This area of the design is a negative space. But these parts where the things or where the elements of the design are, they are positive spaces, which means that they have been used. One good thing you need to do in your design is to make sure that there is a positive balance or there's a balance in your spacing. You don't have to use every space on your design just because there is space over there, right? You have to, at all points in time, make your design look breathable. You have to make it look, you have to make it breathable. You have to make it spacious and visually appealing. Otherwise, if you cloud your design with every part of your design with elements, it's going to make it difficult. Let me give you an example. Imagine this is how the design is looking like. This is as big as this, and this one is also big this way, right? Just look at this. There is no space for you to really absorb the design in. Although you can read everything clearly it is not appealing. That is because you have used all the negative spaces on your design. That is not a good practice in graphic design. So you should, as much as possible, have some negative spaces so that your design doesn't look too busy, right? You can see how it's looked like and how it is looking now. Very breathable. Also, there is one other thing we spoke about yeah, I think that is it. So let us go to the principles of design. What we just spoke about are the elements of design. The elements of design are the things you will need to do a graphic design. When you take a picture or you take a graphic design, everything you see on the design are elements. But to be able to use the elements effectively, you have to know the principles of design. Okay, the principles of design. And so what are some of the principles of design? We have balance, we have balance, we have contrast, we have hierarchy, we have unity. When we say balance, we are trying to say that how symmetric or asymmetric is your design? Is everything scattered around or things are properly arranged? And is one side of the design too heavy than the other, or the other side is, yeah. So let me just illustrate to you. So when you look at this design, right, this design is balanced because although when you divide this design into two, when you look at this side, it is heavy. When you look at this side, it is light. But it is not distorted. Everything is arranged the way it's supposed to be, right? So this is an asymmetric design in the sense that on the left side, it is heavy in terms of the amount of elements you have over there. But on the right side, it is not too heavy, but it is just okay. When you look at this design, a design like this has a radial balance, right? When you divide this design into two, you are not necessarily going to have equal parts. You're not going to have the same amount of elements over here. But you see that there's a certain kind of radial fill. When I say radial, I mean something circular. There's a radial fill over here. But when you take a look at this design, when you divide it into two, this is the SP Africa Geothermal Workshop. Even though the amount of text or the amount of elements on this side isn't as heavy as this one, when you divide this, there is an almost equal amount of elements on both sides. When you check this place and then when you check this place, there is some kind of symmetry in there. So that's what we mean by balance when we are talking about principles of graphic design. Also, there should be contrast. And when I say contrast, I mean that every element in your design should be distinct from the other part. You shouldn't, let me illustrate it for you. When you take these two things, right, which one can you see the most? It is the right one because this one is a white text on a red background. There is a very sharp contrast between the two colors, right? Which means when you design and then this one has a negative. Please hold on for me. I just want to be sure that this meeting is going okay. Good. Yeah. So when you take these two designs, this one has sharp contrast between the text and then the background, but this one doesn't because the color is not as bright and it's not easily distinguishable for the from the background. And the reason this is important is because sometimes there are people who have sight challenges, right? There are some people who cannot see colors well. So if you don't make your text distinct, or if you don't make the elements in your design distinct from each other, it becomes difficult for people with such challenges to see. And not just for those people, every other person, okay? And then there's also hierarchy of visual importance. We said that if you are designing, you should represent the elements according to the order you want people to read them. And when you take this design, what is the first thing you see? You are going to see this one. Maybe the second thing you are going to see is this image over here. Before you come down to read the rest of the images, then several other things would follow. So always have a certain hierarchy in your design so that people will know exactly what you are communicating and what they should read first. Okay. And there is also margins. I think I mentioned that margins should be under the elements of design instead of the principles of design. But let me just explain it to you. When you were in school, they taught you to use margins before writing. But it's strange to see that sometimes when people are designing, they want to fill up every part of the design. When you're designing, Don't start your design from the margin like this. Don't design like this. Just because the frame of the design is available or it's present doesn't mean you should start your design from there. Maybe for pictures, you can feel free to use it, but your design shouldn't start from margins. Maybe somebody will do this. Somebody will do this because the frame starts here. The person is going to start their design from here. There is no margin. There is a reason why we use margins to make our designs readable, to make us to make it easy for us to make it appealing, and then to make it easy for us to read what the design is trying to communicate. And I give an example that even in high school, right? When you are writing on your answer booklet, there is an instruction. Do not write on either sides of the margin. It's a very important instruction, and it's the same principle that applies in graphic design. So there are several other what you call it? Several other principles, but we are not going to spend much time on it because today is for practicals. We also said that some of the tools available for designing are Photoshop. It helps you design pixel images. We also have Affinity, which behaves like Photoshop but has more features. And then we has a lot of features combined into one, rather than Photoshop that has several apps performing different functions. Affinity has different functions combined into one single app. Does somebody want to talk? I hear somebody. Who wants to talk? Okay. Yeah. So we also have Corel Draw. We have Canva, which we are going to learn today. We have Figma. Figma is for UI UX designers, but it's also used for graphic designing. And we said about the business side of design, we said you shouldn't just know how to use design tools. You should learn the principles and the elements of design. You should also pay attention to detail, because if your client sends you a content to use for design, and then they miss an error, it is your responsibility to spot those errors and then make the corrections. But today, when you go around town, you see a lot of signboards, signposts, flyers that have so much errors in them, and you are wondering whether the person who did the design didn't see them before putting them out there. Maybe it's because the designer also doesn't know, doesn't understand the context, the work, or something like that. So it's important to understand what you are doing. You should also be on competition. Don't compete with other designers, because there are people who have a lot of experience. If you try to compete with them, you are going to have burnouts. But you should rather compete with yourself. How did you used to do about a year or two ago? How are you doing now? And what would you like to achieve in terms of designing capabilities in the year ahead? Also, learn to build relationships. I give an example that I don't advertise that I'm a graphic designer, but almost every time I have a client that I'm working with. Why? Because people recommend me, people see me, people know what I do. And it's the same thing that can work for you. If you build good relationships, you will always have people referring you. And one of the ways to build good relationships is to do good work. Good work cannot be negotiated, okay? And you should also see every project like your only project. Don't design, when you get a gig, don't say this gig is too small, so I'm going to pay little attention to it. For all you know, that gig is going to secure the next gig for you. So design every project like it's the only design you have, which is going to secure you the next project. Before every project, you should have inspiration. Okay, before every project, you should get inspiration. It is not a wrong thing to copy what other designers have done. What is wrong is that you are copying ditto. You don't need to copy ditto. You can look at what other people have done, similar projects other people have done, and then transfer their ideas into yours, redesign it to make it something unique. But if you have to copy and paste what other people have done, they are not really to learn in your design journey. Also, you should learn to relate with clients well. I think it's tied to the fifth point, which is about building relationships. But you should also learn who to tolerate. Don't do what do the Muslims call it? Is it zakat or something like this one? Giving of alms. Graphic design is not for charity, okay? Unless you are working in an NGO, graphic design is not for charity. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of brain work. It takes a lot of mental energy, and you need to get paid for what you do. If you have friends and family who are doing business, okay, and they ask you for a free design, you can say no. And the reason you can say no is that when they do the design, they are going to, when you do the design for them and they advertise, they are going to make money out of it. So it is only fair that you get paid for helping them with a design, which is going to help them make more money. But of course, if they don't have enough money, you can pardon them if they get the money and then they come back to you for future designs. Then you let them know that it is a good thing to get remunerated for the service you offer them. Don't be afraid to say no. And don't take too much projects on yourself than you can consume. At best or at worst, if you don't have enough time and you have a project, look for another designer who is as good as you or better than you, and then let them come on board for the project. That is one of the ways to retain clients, right? If a client comes and you don't have time, don't say, bring it, I'll do it for you. No, you break down. But if you don't want the client to go, and which is a good option, you can look for other designers like you, give them the job, and then it's still going to be in your name. At the end of the day, you get to keep your clients, you get to do the work for the clients, you get to make your money, and then you share revenue with whoever assisted you. And also, the last thing I want you to know, the rest is non-negotiable. The only thing you would need, or the most important thing you need to do your next project, is your health. So if you're a graphic designer, you're getting a lot of gigs, learn to pause, learn to turn your PC off. Even your PC needs rest. How much more you, who God has instructed to rest? You understand? So please prioritize rest so that you don't burn out and become wasted in your design efforts. That said, we are going to zoom straight into the practicals of Canva. We are going to zoom straight into the practicals of Canva, how to use Canva like a professional. I'm going to give us a 1 minute pause. I've spoken for too long. I need to rest. So a 1 minute pause. If you have any question to ask, you can put it in the chat box, or you can just unmute and then ask the question. I'll be willing to answer you. If there is no question, let's wait for just 30 seconds or 45 seconds. Let me catch my breath. If you are understanding too, you can send your comments, okay? Just let me know that it's going well and then you understand everything. Don't be quiet. Let me know if there is an interaction. And please, for this part of the session, you can unmute yourself, okay? Everybody should unmute if your environment is clean or if your environment is less noisy, so that as and when I'm designing, if there is a question or something you don't understand, you quickly prompt me so that I explain, okay? So everybody can unmute at this point, if only your background is not noisy. Doesn't mean everybody's background is noisy.
No, my background is not.
Okay, good. Confirm if you can still see my Canva screen.
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So this is what Canva looks like. Not for somebody who is a new designer though, because you can see there's a lot of projects over here. But if you open Canva for the first time, this is something you are going to see on your dashboard. So I'm going to walk you through the dashboard or the interface of Canva in the next like 5 or 10 minutes. And then we are going to do a project. We are going to design together. Okay. We'll design together. I'm still trying to catch my breath. I was speaking too fast. Okay, let us continue. So what can Canva do for you? Let me see if I can stand in the place of Canva to give a little background and details about Canva. So Canva was created by Melanie Perkins. I think she's
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Hello.
Please, sorry for interrupting. Someone has a question.
Oh, okay. Somebody has a question. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry. What is the major difference between digital art and graphic design? That's a nice question. I never thought about it to share. So graphic design, okay, can either be in digital format or in print format or physical format. Yesterday, I gave an example that before computers were born, people were still doing graphic design. So the newspapers people were sharing, the London Times, all of the Washington Post, I don't know, I'm sure in Ghana, news computer was known by that time, but all of those printing and designs people were doing, they were all forms of graphic design. If you go to the visual arts class today in high school, you see them doing all forms of graphics, like um, how to design posters, announcements, banners, all of that is graphic design. And I gave this example yesterday too. There are some code stores or there are some provision shops. They don't have banners. What they have is painting, right? So there are these local guys who do painting in the hood, and they use their paints to draw chicken and goat and cow. They are Bochi people. They use paints to draw chicken and goat and cow and all of those things to show that this shop sells these kinds of things in their shop. That is an example of graphic design, but it is not digital. It is physical, or it is in a print format, right? Then we have the graphic design for digital art. Thankfully, because digital gives us a lot of options, there are different forms of graphic design in digital formats than in print. So in digital art can comprise motion design, even the video in itself is a digital art. Your movie is a digital art, but we are talking specifically about graphic design. Okay, movie is a digital art, video is a digital art, motion design is a digital art. The logos you see are forms of digital art. Architectural design is digital. Okay, anything you can design on the computer is a digital art, so long as it can have the tag art. Okay, and then the graphic design can either be digital or physical. I hope that explains it for you. If it explains it, you can put your comment in there for me. Where am I? Where is my Canva? Okay, so what can Canva do for you? I was given a background to Canva. Canva was created by Melanie Perkins alongside her husband and then one other tech guy from, I think, Google or so. And the reason they created it is this. She realized that graphic design was monopolized by people who had tech skills. So if you don't know how to use Photoshop or Corel Draw or DaVinci, it will be difficult for you to do design. And that made it look like before you can do design on your own, you have to learn these skills, or you have to pay somebody huge amounts of money to be able to do that. And to be a graphic as a graphic designer, to subscribe to Photoshop or those professional tools, you have to pay huge amounts of money. But what she thought to do was to democratize design by making people own their own design processes for teaching and then for business. So if you check Canva, right, the main areas they are focused on are teaching, nonprofits, and then business. Nonprofits because they wanted to make design is less expensive. Teaching because they wanted to help teachers be able to interact with visuals in classrooms. I think the lady herself was a teacher or so, something like that kind of background. And today, Canva is used by people all over the world. And to me, that is the best design software. That is one of the best inventions that have ever been made. And I'm very passionate about the use of Canva. Before, I used to use Corel Draw, then I jumped to Photoshop, and then I came to Canva, and I realized that there are so many things in Canva that makes the work easier for me than in Photoshop or Corel Draw. That is why I've stuck with Canva. So what can Canva do for you? Canva can do anything graphic design. And let me just walk you through them one by one. So Canva can help with your presentation, your the presentation you'll be using Microsoft PowerPoint for, Canva can do that for you. Canva can help you design videos. The videos you have to use Adobe Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve or CapCut for, Canva can do that for you. Canva can help you design or create a Word document. So the Microsoft Word app that you use, whatever it can do, Canva can do the same thing or something similar, just that it's still, advancing. Canva can also be used for whiteboards. Somebody was asking about graphic design and digital art. So before, when people are ideating in a room, okay, when they are in a conference room or a workshop and then they are sharing ideas, they have this big whiteboard that they put stickers and things on. You can do that digitally now with the Canva whiteboard. Also, Microsoft Excel. Everything you can do with Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets, you can do the same thing in here with Canva. And then you can share documents across these two platforms. The same for the Microsoft Word and then the PowerPoint. You can design a website with Canva. You can create email designs with Canva. So you realize that sometimes when some companies send you emails, they look very different from what you have been sending to your colleagues. They are well formatted, very colorful, have buttons and all that. You can design such templates or wireframes in Canva, export it to maybe Google or Yahoo or OneDrive, and then you use that as your templates for sending emails. Canva can also edit your photos. So just like Photoshop can edit pictures, Canva can edit pictures. Just that based on how much I've used it, I realized that there's still more work to be done in their photo editing tool. But you can give it a try if you're a beginner, because there are a lot of AI tools in there you can use to enhance your photos. There are several other things Canva can do for you. You can use Canva to create a course. So if you're a teacher or you are an online content creator and then you want to create a course, or you are a teacher. If you're a teacher, you want to create a course for your students to submit their work online or to participate, or any kind of course that you want to create, you can use Canva to do so. This is particularly helpful for people who are virtual teachers and learners. I've mentioned Whiteboard, Doc, and then you can use Canva for all your social design posts. So you realize that every social media platform has their own dimensions they require for media. So Facebook, you need a certain dimension to be able to put. Let me see if I can be specific. So on Instagram, to design a post for Instagram, it has to have a dimension of about 1080 by 1380 pixels. If you are designing for YouTube, it has to be 1080 by 1920. If you are designing for YouTube Shorts or Reels or TikTok, it has to be 1920 by 1080. I know these are a lot of figures, but because you don't need to put all of these figures in your mind, Canva has templates available for you to use. So you just look for the design you are trying to do, and then Canva is going to automatically input that for you. So you want to create a CV, you want to create a proposal, you want to create an ID card for your business, you want to, email signature I mentioned, you want to create a business card, a letterhead, Facebook post, you want to design a banner, you want to design a website, anything at all you want to do, which is for digital art or for print, Canva can assist you to do that. All you need to know is to know where you are going to publish that design material. And if you go through all of these things and then you still don't know, or you can't see the dimensions you require for the work you want to publish, you can go to custom size and then input your own width and height and change the pixel format in Canva so that you'll be able to design your custom image or photo. Let me catch my breath again. If there is a question, please, you can put it in the chat box or you can unmute and then ask me. Okay, so Canva can be used by anybody. Okay, it can be used by professionals. I mean, somebody who is a professional in graphic design or somebody who is a starter. And I want to quickly walk you through a dashboard or walk you through an interface, the design interface in Canva. So to start designing or to start designing, you go to, what do we want to design today? Can somebody give a quick suggestion of what they would like us to design? You can put it in the chat box and we are going to work with just that. Somebody can just put in the chat box. What do you want us to design today? Please, I'm waiting for you. It has to be interactive. A flyer. What kind of flyer? Is it a banana flyer or food flyer? Yeah. Okay, a carousel. Okay.
Harrison.
Yeah. Okay, so let's design a carousel, okay? A carousel can contain a flyer, okay? I mean, a carousel can have the details of a flyer. A logo, a company logo, we can do that in Canva, but I have a better way of showing you how to design a logo, but that is going to be just a little technical. But it's going to be in Affinity, not in Canva, okay? So let's design a carousel, okay? And we are going to use the Instagram formats to design a carousel. So I want to design a carousel for Instagram posts. So I'm going to social media over here, and then I'm going to select an Instagram post. So there's an Instagram post, okay? It has a dimension of 1080 by 1350, okay? It has a ratio of 4:5. So I'll select it, and then I'll design a carousel. Please mute yourself if there's noise in the background. So now Yepotele, what carousel would you want us to design? A carousel for what? What content do you want to be on the carousel? And for the sake of those who don't know what a carousel is simply a post with multiple images that you can slide through. So when you go to Instagram, when somebody makes a post and then their post has more than one picture or one artwork, you can slide to the last page. And the inspiration behind the carousel is the machine at the airport. You see, when you go to the airport and then you arrive and then you want to pick your bag, that thing that moves your bag around, you stand and you wait to see. Yeah, that is a carousel. So that is the same idea over here. If you let me see if I can do something. Naya Motele, you can unmute and then speak. I see your hand is up. Okay, it should be about how to be consistent as a business owner. Okay, so let us find an easy way out. Okay, I'm going to find an easy way out just to save a lot of time, so that we won't have to talk too much. An easy way out is just going to look for a template on how to be consistent with your business. So business, I'm going to, first of all, okay, no, hold on. Let's not let's hold our horses, okay? Let's not jump the gun. Before we start, let me show you the interface of Canva, okay? So we talked about elements and principles in design. And in Canva, there are several buttons over here. And one of those buttons is the elements button, okay? You should take note of it because that's one of the buttons you are going to be visiting very often. So let me start over. So in Canva, there's a typical interface for Canva. And to start your Canva design, you should know what these things are for. So the first button, which is the design, the first tab called the design tab, it has every template that is similar to the ratio or the kind of design that you have selected to design. We chose Instagram post. So this design tab will have all examples or all templates or many templates of Instagram posts ready for you to use. And you can see very beautiful design posts over here. And you don't need to break a sweat. If you find any of these ones beautiful to use, you just click on it. Then you have it over here. You can change your logo or you can change the name Na Yemo Te Le, right? And then you change the other features in the design to suit your own need. But If you don't like it, you can always scan through again to see which design is best for you. So let me undo that and then let's go back. So I'm going to, so let's go back to this place. So this is for design, it's for templates. If you want a template and you don't want to work too hard to get a design, this is what you need. Then let us go to the elements. I mentioned that elements is what you need for a design. When I was talking about elements, I spoke about imagery, I spoke about lines, shape, textures, all of those things you need to be able to make a good design. They are found in the elements section. And in Canva, all you need to do is to search, okay? But if you don't know exactly what you are looking for, or if you don't know the name of what you are looking for, there are categories over here. You can search for shapes, you can search for graphics or icons, you can search for colors, you can search for you can search for shapes, you can search for graphics, you can search for picture frames, something to put your image in. You can search for you can even code in Canva. Okay, that is for another time. Within the same session, I'm going to explain to you that you can look for photos, you can look for mockups, you can find 3D images, you can look for videos, audio, anything you will need for your design. Provided you don't have it by yourself and you want Canva to provide it for you, you are going to find it in the Elements tab. So if you're looking for maybe a rectangle shape, you can put it over here. And then if you are looking for a frame, a picture frame, you can put your picture frame here. And then you come and put a picture in there. Maybe, let me see what are some of the things that I've uploaded. This is granite. I put it here, and then it takes the shape of the frame. So that is what elements are for you. And like I mentioned, that is one of the tools you need the most when you are designing in Canva, this one. Then we go to text. That is where you can add your typography. So Canva has pre-designed text formats. We have the heading, the subheading, and then the body text. And then there are third-party software or third-party apps that can help you manipulate the text you have over there, because Canva is still developing. It doesn't have all the features. And I think that's also because they don't want to make it, they want to make it as simple as possible so that those without tech skills don't have to bother about more things to learn to make their text appealing. So these are the three third-party software in there. You can look for more of them somewhere down there. But for now, this is what you need to know. If you want to add a text to your Canva page, this is where you come to. Then your branding. Okay, so this is a company account that I'm using. So you are going to see more of company stuff as and when. So Canva helps you stay consistent throughout your design. Okay, and one way to stay consistent throughout your design is to have similar images, similar colors, similar or different variations of your logo. You know, all of those things you need to make up your brand identity. Canva can help you arrange them. So in your brand template, you can add your logos, your brand colors, your brand font styles, your brand voice, like how you want AI to respond when you make a query. Canva has an AI feature. Your brand photos, your graphics, maybe there are certain logos, there are certain icons that are unique to your brand. You don't want to use just any other icon. You can add all of those things here. And whenever you design, and then you don't want to now reinvest the process of choosing which colors fit your brand, everything is lined up over here. You just choose it, and then you are good to go. That is about the brand. Then uploads. Maybe there are things you want to work with that are not in Canva. You can upload all of those things over here. Please don't look at the things I've uploaded. There are things, there are things you want to upload. All of those things are here. You can upload videos, photos, audio, designs. When I say designs, I mean you can upload Microsoft Word documents, PowerPoint presentations, Excel sheets. You can upload all of those things, PDFs. You can upload all of them over here, and then you can create folders to keep your uploads organized. And there are other things you can use in Canva. These are maybe you're writing to your shape tool. You want to design shapes, you can use this tool to do that. You want to write, you can use Canva to write over there, especially if you're using your whiteboard and then you are using a big screen. This becomes very handy. You can use sticky notes. I also spoke about sticky notes when I was talking about the whiteboards for Canva. So you can use sticky notes to design in Canva. And you can also add tables in your Canva design. You can also add tables from the Elements tab. You just go look for tables, and then you are going to see tables over here. So like I mentioned, if you know what you are looking for, you can just look for them in Canva. Maybe business meeting, right? You're looking for a picture of a business meeting. You don't even need to type business. You don't even need to type picture. Business meeting, you're going to have videos that look like business meetings, graphics that depicts business meetings, videos, chats that are related to business, mockups, you know, so many things you can obtain in Canva. All you just have to do is to look for it. So you can try your own keyword. You don't have to limit yourself to something. Sometimes Canva surprises me. Some of the things I don't expect to find in Canva, I type them and then I find them, and it makes the work so easy for me. So that is tools for you. You can find a lot of writing tools in there. Then you go to projects. Okay, projects are similar to what do you call it? Projects are similar to the things you uploaded over there, the Microsoft Word documents and the Excel templates and things you uploaded there. And then you can find all of your designs in one place around this side. Now, to make Canva, to enhance the features of Canva, or to make, how do I put it? To add more features to Canva so that if Canva is unable to meet your design needs, to be able to meet your design needs without some of the features in Canva, Canva has allowed third-party features inside Canva. So different apps are now available in Canva. Most of them are AI tools to help you with your design. There are a lot of them. I cannot explain all of them. When you get your Canva app, when you log in, you can look at them one by one to see which ones help you. But before Canva added some features, I used to use one of the apps called Gradient Text. It's a third-party feature or third-party app in Canva to add gradients to my text. We are going to talk about gradients sometime in the design. Looking at things, okay, let's be hopeful that we'll be able to finish this design process. There are several other tools in Canva that you can use. You can create mockups with third-party tools. You can create your own AI voice in Canva with third-party tools. So many things. Most of the AI tools you know outside of Canva, they have plugins in here that you can use directly within Canva. I hope that is okay. Then let us go to Canva AI. I think we may be best be able to use Canva AI while we are designing. So what do? I have a checklist that I'm using to do this presentation. You know, let's just go straight to the carousel. So Yamotele, we are back to you. I hope you're on the call. We are back to you. We are coming to design a carousel with Canva. So I think that to be able to have the full potential of Canva, Yamotele, can you give me exactly what you want us to discuss? We are going to use the Canva features in here to design everything you need to know, to design everything from start to finish, and hopefully you are going to have. Okay, so she has something about it. She said, it should be about how to be consistent as a business owner, but the brand feature is just accessible for. Oh, okay. You are asking if some of the features are accessible for people with Pro, but Canva gives you free trial. And Canva is not expensive. With about $100 or so, you can get Canva for 1 whole year. That's about 1,000 cedis. And if you can't afford $100 at a go, you can pay for Canva per month. That's going to be about 100 cedis or almost 200 cedis per month. And you can have all the capabilities of Canva. So we are going to go with your suggestion about how to be consistent as a business owner. So here's what we are going to do. We are first going to add a text in Canva. Okay, please follow along. Okay, follow along so that this is the best way I can teach you how to use Canva. So we are going to add a text in Canva, and then we are going to use the Canva feature to generate content for our carousel. So we are going to tell Canva, I'm going to use this thing over here, transform text, and ask Canva, generate.
Wait.
Yeah. Or am I running too fast?
Yeah, I'm doing it with you.
You are doing it with me.
Yeah.
Okay. Because of time, I may not be able to go at the pace you are going, but I'll try to be moderate in my speed. Okay. So I'm going to generate contents with the suggestion by now. I'm going to ask Canva using Magic Write, right? This tool over here. I'll go to transform text and I'll ask Canva, generate a carousel content on the topic. What? Let me see what we have over here. How to be consistent as a business owner. Then maybe let me add a few prompts. Should be 5 pages max. 5 pages maximum. Short bullet points. You can add more features depending on what you want to do. So I'll submit it to Canva, and Canva is going to help me generate a post. So just like that, Canva has given me some content, and I'm going to click on this button to replace the text over here. So there's a rough sketch I have over here, but it didn't give me a heading and then a closing whatever. Okay, there's a closing thing, but I need a heading for this post. Okay, so I'm going to ask Canva Magic Write again. Give a heading for the cover page. I'm going to write, give a heading for the cover page. Please, the person asking for 2 cedis, can you mute yourself? Give Canva give a heading for the cover page. Then you submit. Guide it has given you a heading for the cover page, right? Then instead of replacing, you add this below so that you don't lose this text you have over there. So you go to add below, or you can just copy the link. You can copy the text over here. Hello. Bright, can you please mute yourself? Oh, it's not Bright.
I'll learn it. I'll learn this system.
Okay.
If I get notice.
Hello, Mubarak.
Yes, sorry.
Can you please mute yourself? Thank you very much. Yeah, sorry, I thought it was you, Bright. So I added the heading over here. So with this content over here, let us begin our graphic design tool. So like I mentioned to you, it is not a wrong thing to say. It's not a bad thing to copy in designing. So instead of having to brainstorm where my layout, how my layout and everything is going to look like, I'm just going to go to design and I'm going to look for carousel. Okay, I'm going to look for carousel. There's one suggestion over here, like carousel Instagram post. So let me just use carousel Instagram post. And you are going to have a lot of carousels over here. Some of them have 5 pages, 6 pages, 8 pages, 10 pages, all that. So I'm going to go through and see which of them looks nice for me. This one has caught my eye immediately. So let me see if they beam me like that. But let me see. When you hover on the item, it is going to scroll through for you. Let me look at this one too. This one looks a little appealing, but it's too busy. Or you think we should use that one? Let me see this one. Okay, this one looks, no, this one too. That's one of the problems when it comes to designing. There are so many options, it's difficult for you to make. So you have decision-making fatigue. But you know what? Let's just use any one. Let me go with this one, okay? Let us use this one. So when you select this post, you see all the available pages in there. No, this looks too busy. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go with this. Okay, let's go with this one. So let's select this one. You see all the text over here, and you see there's a certain kind of beauty with this. A certain kind of beauty with this design. Whenever you click, it looks as if it's one design that runs through, but it's just different designs that have been intentionally arranged for it to look like the next design is a continuation of the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply all the 8 pages. But if I apply all the 8 pages, I might lose this one. So let me add a new page and see something. So let me apply all 8 pages. So you see what happened? No. So I don't want to take the risk of losing the content I have over here. So what I'm going to do is, let me just copy my content. I'm going to copy my content this way. So it is in my, what do you call it? It is in my clipboard. So I'm going to apply all of these pages, replace all pages, and I have all the pages over here just like that. Okay. Now let me create a new page and then paste my content over here. So I still have my content over here. Let me remove the background so that if you want to remove the background, you just click on the background and then you press delete. It will remove. So now we have our template. When we finish, we are going to format it to our own colors and appeal. So let's go to the content. We have our heading over here. So I'm going to copy my heading, come here, post it in here. Like that. It's too big, so maybe I can resize it this way, or I can just reduce the font size to make it look. Some of these things are very intuitive, so I don't need to teach you step by step how to do all of these things. When you learn Canva, when you practice, you find how to use most of these things. I hope that is okay. So I have this one there. So this is a guide to effective goal setting and productivity. And how many points did Canva give us? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's just say 5 steps, or 5 steps to guide 5-step English. So let's say a 5-step guide. A 5-step guide to effective goal setting by Na Yemo Le. Or you use your business name. So maybe your business name is at your social media handle is Na Yemo Le, right? So this is your let's change the image for you. I don't have a picture of you, so I'm going to look for a woman, a dark woman. Okay. Let's look for this lady is beautiful, so let's put her face over there. And I'm going to expand it a bit to cover. So just like that, I have found an image, a stock image in Canva. I didn't need to go to FreePic or go to Google to go and look for an image. I can have a lot of images in, please let me know if you are still with me. I don't want to be, somebody has raised their hand. Whose hand is raised? Somebody is asking if you can get the recording after the interview. Yes, you can get the recording after the interview. And please let me know who has raised. Okay, now your hand is still raised. Do you have a question to ask? Hello now. Okay, let us continue. So we now have our point. So let's go to page 1. The first is to set clear goals. Okay, set clear goals. You come and replace everything here. Set clear goals. I'm going to do this one quickly. I don't have to walk you through it. I hope that is on the call because this thing that I'm calling you and then you are not responding.
Hello.
Oh, okay, you are there.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. I saw your hand is raised. That's why I was
Yes, I
checking.
have a question.
You have a
I have a
question?
question. Yes.
Okay, please ask.
Please, you see some of the carousels. It looks like
Yes.
there's a picture, right? But then there's a division. You have part of the picture appearing on the first page, and you have the other half appearing on another page. How do you achieve that?
Okay, that's a nice one. So do you see how this carousel is?
Yes.
When you take this page, right? This blue or cyan shape, it looks like it is continuing in here. And this white looks like it's continuing in here.
Yeah.
Look at this. I think that is the same principle you are trying to apply. Maybe when we finish, remind me so that we'll apply that effect to your design. I hope that is okay.
Yes.
So first, let's edit the content and then we'll be done. We are on number 3, right? Monitor progress. Let's see if I can finish this. Let's say stable. Build accountability. The last one says build accountability. So just like that, we have a design fully made by Canva. Okay, let me delete this page from there. And let me delete this page from there. So we have our carousel set. So you can post this on Instagram straight up without having to do any further editing. Let me delete this page now that we have this. Now, is asking us to add image. Now, let me see if I can get an example of what you are saying. So when you go to App Store, there are certain apps that let me see. Which app did I download most recently? No. No. Anyway. Okay, so now wants us to add something like now you sell glasses, right? So let's add picture of glasses. So maybe let me add this fancy glass to NAS A. So now wants this image, okay? Now wants this image to appear on the cover page and also appear on the same page, but it should be such that half of this image appears on the cover page and the other half appears on the other page. So it's simple. Let me see where I can position your image. Let me reduce the size a bit. We want to have as much white spaces as possible. So let me reduce this one a little bit. So we want this part of the image and we want the rest of the photo, which is not showing, to appear on the other page. So I'll just do this. I'll copy this and then paste it on top of it. And then I'll align it so that it looks like it's just one image. But when you take it off, you realize there are 2 images, right? I've just aligned it for them to be on the same page. Canva has inbuilt tools to make you know that your items are aligned. But if you are finding difficulty aligning, just select this, select the second one, come to position, okay? Come to position, and then you use these tools, alignment tools over here in the arrange tab to align it. So when you press middle, it will align in the middle. When you press center, it will align in the center. Let me repeat that. If you have two, if you have two of the same elements and you want them to be, they're of the same size and you want them to be in the same position, you select both of them. You press shift to select both of them. Come to position. Under the arrange tab, there is alignment options over here. Press middle and then you press center, and then you have them aligned over here. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to crop the first layer. In design, we work in layers, okay? I'm going to crop the first layer. You can see the layers over here, just like you can have it in Photoshop or CorelDRAW. You can see the layers over here. We are going to crop you can access the layers still from the position, okay? Still from the position and then the alignment area. You can have your layer, select the first one. So this one is above this one. Wherever, if you want to know whether one element is above the other, you just check the layer panel in the app to see which one is on top. So I select the one on top, and then I'm going to crop this. You crop just by dragging, okay? You crop just by dragging. And the painful thing is that when I crop and then I leave it or I unselect it, it's going to vanish. There's going to be nothing over there. So when I crop, I make sure that I don't leave it. So when I crop it this way, okay, when I crop it up to the point where it disappears, then I press shift and then hold down shift and I press the second item. So now two items are selected, okay? And then I come here to the next page where I want the other part to show, and I paste. Then I drag this one here. I select hey, something has happened. Where is it? In fact, let me show you a simpler way. Let's start over. Okay, once I have my items aligned, okay, I crop this one. When I crop it to this side, I don't deselect it. I make sure it's still selected. I press this more button. And then hold on. I bring it into the design. Let me put my thoughts together. You have to make sure that it is in line with the other one you have selected. So if you crop it, hold down the shift button, the shift key on your PC, and then drag it into the frame. Because if you don't drag it into the frame, once you go to the next page, it's going to get missing because it is not found. Okay, the magic worked. But just to be on the safer side, okay? Just to be on the safer side, you realize that when you come here, you don't see that thing anymore. Just to be on the safer side, when you have it cropped, you press down and hold the shift key, and then you bring it into your frame. When you bring it to your frame, you copy it, come to the next page where you want it to show, and then you paste it. When you paste it, because it is in the same line, as the previous one, you just come here this way, and then you put it to the edge. So if you post your design, you can delete this one now. When you post your design, the first page will look like this. The second page will look like this, and it will look seamless, just like the blue items are showing as if they've been. It's one image flowing through. Maybe I'm struggling with the English, but I'm hoping that you have understood the illustration that I have done. Let me know if you understand this perfectly or you want me to walk through it once again. Please, have you understood? Okay, you understand. Okay. Hey, no, that's an old message. Please unmute and then oh, I should go through it again. Okay, maybe this time it will be easier. So I have this picture here, and then I want to make it look like the picture, this page, and then this second page is the same page, and the picture goes through it. All I need to do is I duplicate this image, I duplicate the image, go to position, and then go to the layers, the alignment part. Go to alignment. You hold down the shift or the command option. You select the other image, and then you use the alignment tool to press to align it in the center and then in the middle. When you do that, maybe you position it this way a little bit. Then you select only the first one, the one on top. When you select the one on top, you crop it this way. You crop it. Cropping in Canva is easy. You just select the edges of the design, and then there's a node over there, or there's a little node over there. You select it, and then you use it to crop your image. You crop it to the frame, to the edge of the frame. And to be on the safer side, because this image is now out of the frame, once you leave it, once you deselect it this way, it's going to vanish. You can't see it again. So you don't leave it. Okay, you don't leave it. When you crop it, you press and hold the shift tool, and then you bring it into it. But the reason why you have to press and hold the shift tool is so that it doesn't leave this what do you call it, this position, or this position in terms of in vertical, this vertical, please, English. It doesn't leave the same. English teachers, please help me here. You're pressing the shift tool just to make sure that your item, I think there's a mistake here. Your item is in the same position as the previous one. All right. I think this is understandable. So you copy it now. Now that you've copied and you've moved it into the design, you copy it, come to the next page, paste it here, and then shift it to the end. So where it ends in this design, you delete this one. Where it ended in this design, it continues over here. I think that is understandable. If you don't understand, we have done the recording. You will be able to have access to it at a later time. So let us continue with other features of this design. Now we've made a design, but we are not so happy about the colors. We want to change the color to something a little more bright, like yellow or red. So you select this color over here. When you select it, you have certain control tools at the top here. There's the second button, or the second area in Canva you need to pay attention to. The first one I said is what? The elements, and the second one is the control tools above over here. The control tools appear when you have selected an image. So once you select an element or an image, once you select an element in Canva, this tool appears for you to edit or manipulate that tool. So we want to change the color of this. To change the color, you see the color over here. It has been highlighted over here. Select it. There are a ton of colors in here. Maybe we should use orange. All right. Because we don't want to go to each text. We don't want to go to each page to change it to orange. Maybe when you come to this page, you come and select orange. You come to this page, come and select orange. That's too much work. Okay. That is what makes Canva easy to use. So instead of having to change all the colors one by one, you select one of them, select it, select the color, change it to orange, and you see a prompt over here whether you should change all the colors that you have just changed into orange. So you select change all, it applies automatically to the page. So all the pages have now been changed to orange. You can do this for another one, the other elements. If you want to change this hot pink color to something like maybe the blue we used earlier, you want to change it to this color, they don't really match. One of the principles in graphic design is harmony. Okay, your design should be in harmony with one another, and one of the ways to achieve harmony is by making sure that your colors complement each other. These two colors, they don't really match. I don't really know which colors would complement, so maybe let me just use this for design purposes. Okay, so if they are not in so much, in fact, let's do the right thing. Okay, let us use a color that I'm confident I can change. Let me use brown for this, and then let me change all of them. And to add to brown, we can use a color like, I've shot myself in the foot. We can use a color like what? Maybe this orange over here. I think they match a little bit, okay? So you use this orange. What did I just do? Okay, now here's one thing you need to know. If you want your color to change across the entire design, you need to make sure that that color is the same color code throughout the design. If the color you use on this page is slightly different from the color used on the other page in terms of color codes, your design won't work. So you make sure that your color codes are the same. Color code is simply the codes that are used to identify a color. Each color in this world has a code, okay? So these are color codes. This is a color code. So you want to make sure that all your color codes are the same for you to be able to have an effective design. So let's apply this same tool over here to be able to have that same effect. Maybe this color is throughout the design. So let's change this one to maybe orange, and then let's change it across the design. So you realize that when you check your design, everything over here is every color that you changed has been applied. Now there is a little problem. We are not achieving contrast in this design. The reason you are not achieving contrast in this design is because the black and then the brown background, they make it difficult for us to read. So what do we do? Maybe because maybe you would just have to change the font colors to white for it to be visible. But unfortunately, you cannot change the colors across the pages, because if you change this to white and then you let it apply across the pages, this one is also going to change to white. So to be on the safer side, you just target the brown pages and then change the colors. So to change the colors easily, you just use your mouse button to select all of these things, and then you go to this text color tool, and then you change the color to white. You shouldn't use this option, because when you use this option down here, it's going to affect the other pages. So in this case, you would have to do it one by one. You select it, and then you maybe add this one to it, and then you change it. Do the same for every other page that has low contrast. You select it, do this. So this one, there is white, but we want to create some kind of distinction in here. So instead of changing the color to white, let me use the other complementary color in there, which is orange. And I'll change this one rather to white, and these ones to white. Yeah. And just like that, we have our design here. And you realize that these fonts are too small. So you can increase the font size a bit. Maybe let's increase the font size to 35. So if you increase the font size to 35, this thing is blocking us a bit. So we might have to find a way to deal with it. We'll come and deal with this later because it's taking too much time. So you select, now that you've set this body text 35 points in size, you don't have to go to all the pages and then change the font styles. All you need to do is to select this select this body page, come to this tool called copy style, select it, go to the next page, paste it. The only issue is that because the other color is white, it might change the color, but I'm sure there is a way around it. Okay, there is a way around it. There's no way around it. There's not so much way around it. You know what? Just try and do it one by one. If there are not too many, pages, but if there are too many pages, one of the ways to use is to use the copy style function. So you see, when I copy it, it changes the font size, just that the color also changes to match the font color in this particular design. So to be on the safer side, let me just undo it. I'll just select this, change the font size to 35, press OK, go to the next page, 35, press OK. And then you repeat it for all the designs. Okay, so we see that Naya Motele's name is over here and the image is here, but the rest of the images have the templates over there, the templates username. So let me just copy this here and then I'll delete this, paste. So you realize that over here too, there's no contrast in the brown and black text. So we'll come and take care of those ones later. Sometimes it's unavoidable. You have to do some of these minor edits manually, but it's okay if you have the time to be able to do that. So let me change these ones to white. Change this to white. I'm not using the change all tool because there are some font styles that are black on the white pages and it will affect them. So just like that, we have a carousel. If you have a website, you put it over here. Maybe you have a website, you put it over there, and then you have a carousel for yourself to download. Is there any other feature you would like us to add? Maybe the background looks too raw for me. I want to add some slight texture in there or some slides, something in there. I'll go to Canva elements and I'll search something like waves. Okay, I'll search something like waves or geometric waves. Let me say geometric. Please don't let my words give you pressure. With time you'll be able to. No, these are not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something like, good. This is what I'm looking for. Abstract. I'm looking for wave lines. Okay, so I found something that I'm looking for. I'll put it in here to add some kind of effects to the background. I'll position it well. Let me just make it slightly bigger. And I'm going to change the color so that it complements the rest of the designs in there. Now you see that the text, this image I've just added, is appearing on top of some of the elements in there. So what I'll do is that I'll go to my position, go to layers, and then drag it down before the background image, right? When I drag it down, you see that it's not covering any text again. I'll come and then change my color, the color of this element I've added to white. So when it's white, now it complements the others in there. Maybe white is not good, so I can use orange for it to complement the other accessory colors in there. But let's just stick to the white. Now you see that although it's looking like a nice design, but the contrast is becoming not too good. You can't see the text over here clearly. So what do? The first option in my mind is to reduce the visibility of this image I've just added, or this tool I've just added. So to reduce the visibility, I go to the transparency tool. I told you that one of the elements in design is transparency. You go to the transparency tool and then you use the slider to drag it down a bit. So you see, you still have your design in there, but it's not as loud as it used to be. If you want to replicate this, you copy it onto all the blue pages. You drag it down because it will be on top. You go to layers and you drag it down. Copy. Where's the next blue page? You go here. Okay, that's where this blue page doesn't have it. You paste it here and then you drag it down. But what about the pages with the white images or with the white backgrounds? What you can still paste it over here, just that you have to change the colors a bit. You can see it is slightly visible over here as gray lines, okay? But let's change it to brown so that it will complement the brown color in here. But before I change it, I want to change the position. I want to bring it down to this place. Then I'll go to the color and then change it to brown. When I change it to brown, it's now more visible and my design is now appealing, more appealing. I copy it, I come here, paste it. There's a, okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, it's working. So I paste it, bring it down. So another trick to rearrange layers is instead of having to drag this all the way down, you go to the arrange and then you come to this place, select to back. It goes to the last layer before the background and your design is achieved. I come here, paste it, go to arrange, still in the position tab, and then you go to back and then you get it like that. So this is a carousel we just designed from start to finish with Canva. We use the Canva AI tool to design it, and then we also used the other elements. We use the cover templates to have a carousel, and then we use the control tools to manipulate the various elements in the design. And we also learned how to achieve an image that's runs through multiple designs. Like we see in most of the carousels, it's quite a simple thing to do, but of course, it's going to require some kind of practice for you to get better at it. Like I said, the video is being recorded, so you can always have access to it. Is there any other feature you want us to add, or you want us to move to another thing? Have you understood anything? Let me see what else I have to teach you. There are several features in Canva that can help you make your work easier. I'll just run you through those ones, and then we might be done for today. I think that with what we have learned today, you should be able to use Canva on your own without stress. So if you're already a graphic designer using Photoshop or Affinity or Figma, every idea you have or every knowledge you have in Canva, you can apply them. Every knowledge you have in Photoshop or those other tools, you can apply them in Canva, but in a slightly different way. And I know that whatever I'm saying to you or whatever I'm saying here, those who are already designers understand concepts, just that maybe the tools we are using here are slightly different and the position of those tools are slightly different. Let me see if there's any question. Does anybody have a question to ask? Okay, let's catch our breath a bit for like 30 seconds or 1 minute. Then we'll continue. So I'd like to walk you through two other things in Canva, then we can call it a day. Or if there is more time and you are not tired, we can go through the Affinity app. The Affinity app, like I mentioned, is just like Photoshop. With that one, you need some little technical knowledge to be able to use all the tools. But Affinity is a design tool, and it works like Photoshop, but it was recently acquired by Canva, I think late last year. It was recently acquired by Canva, and so now it has Canva integrations, Canva AI integrations. So many of the things you can do in Canva, you can do in Affinity. And many of the things you can do in Affinity, you can do it in Canva. And you can link the two apps to each other so that you can work across the two platforms. So let us continue with Canva AI or other features in Canva which you have to use. And like I mentioned, Canva is a free tool. It has free AI credits. Like you can use some of the AI tools for free, just that it's limited. And so if you want to use every tool in Canva, you would have to subscribe about 100 to 150 cedis a month, or about 1,000 to 1,200 cedis. I don't really know the figures. Let's do a quick search over here. So that is it. Canva is free for everybody, but you can pay 1,200 cedis for it, and you can pay more than that if you have the money, and then you have there are other needs you want to use it for. So that is it. It's very affordable, I think. So if you want to pay per month, it's 150 cedis per month. If you want to pay per month, it's 150 cedis per month. And trust me, here's what I think. And if you make an investment in your business, so long as you are serious about your business, you are going to recoup that investment. If you make an investment of 150 cedis in Canva for a month, or 1,200 cedis in Canva for a year, okay, you are going to earn much more than that. And the reason is, instead of spending so much time trying to design everything by yourself, you can use the AI features in Canva to save yourself a lot of time, and it will give you more time to think of the more critical things about your business so you can scale up quickly. But if 150 cedis is too much for you, then most likely scaling up is also going to be too much for you. I hope I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. When you invest in the right tools, you are going to get good returns for your money, and it's going to help you grow your business very quick, or like very sustainably. So I think that it is something that everyone should consider doing. I'm not being paid by Canva to market, but I just love the app because it has helped me in so many ways and saved a lot of time. And I think every designer deserves to save their time and focus on more important tasks too. So let us continue with the tools, the AI tools in Canva. I've listed some of them over here. There are a lot of capabilities of Canva, but I'm going to mention just a few. Let us say that to be able to appreciate some of these tools in Canva, I'll try to juxtapose them with some of the functionalities in the other design softwares. So if you use Photoshop or CorelDRAW, I don't know if they have recently updated it, but at first it was difficult to work on more than one particular dimension in one artwork. But with Canva, you can work on multiple tools, multiple documents in just one artwork. So this artwork, or this design, please, Abbas,
Sorry, sir.
Abbas, can you please mute yourself? Okay, I think I can. Hello, I just lost control. So let's continue from where we left off. Screen. Where is Canva? Okay. So I was saying that you can work on multiple designs in one page. So this particular design is meant for Instagram carousel, right? But just so you don't have to go and then start another design process all over. Maybe you want to design an Excel sheet, or you want to design a website, or you want to design a presentation slide. You can do that in the same workspace. All you need to do is to come down to this page. If you don't see this, look over here. If you don't see this, look over here. There's a little button over here called Pages. You see it over there. Select this page, and then you have these thumbnails over here. Select this arrow tool, and then you can add another kind of document. So maybe I've finished designing my Canva. I've finished designing my Instagram carousel, but I want to put the same content in a presentation format so that I can do a presentation to maybe a group of clients or something like that. So I'll select presentation, and just like that, I have a presentation layout in Canva. So when you check the previous page, it is horizontal, it is vertical, it has the Instagram format, but over here it has the Microsoft PowerPoint format. So what can I do? We can decide to start the whole process. We can decide to start the whole process by copying and pasting all of these things into these various pages. But I don't want to do that. I might as well just start with a whole different design. So when you select this image and when you select this page right now, because it's now a PowerPoint presentation or a presentation format, when you go to designs, all the templates will change. You no longer see carousels over there. You now see presentations over here. So I want to design a presentation on how to set effective goals and how to, a presentation on the guide to effective goal setting and productivity. So I come here, so you realize that when you select a different page, the templates change. When you select the presentation page, you have presentation templates over here. So let me see which presentation looks appealing, and I'm going to use that presentation. Let me see. This looks simple. I like simple designs because I realized in my design career that the big clients, they don't like busy designs. Sikam PDD is the, pardon me, but it's the broke people who like different, very complicated designs. Add this, add that, put this here, let the person be flying and all that. No, if it's too complicated, it doesn't communicate well. So your design should be simple, it should be breathable so that you'll be able to communicate exactly what you want to. I'm trying to look for a suitable template. I think this looks a little cool and bold, so I'm going to use this. So I'm going to select this template, but I don't want to take the risk of applying. When I select this one, it is going to, okay, that's okay. I have an option to apply all 12 pages. When I apply all 12 pages, it's going to be dangerous for me because I might lose the first ones. But let's see what can work. Let me see whether if I create 12 pages, I'll be able to apply all the 12 pages. This is just an experiment. We are still learning, okay? Don't say, hey, somebody who is teaching me and you don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's start from here. Let's see if we apply all the 12 pages, we will get everything or we'll lose the old ones. Oh, that's very, let me see. Hey, please, don't try this at home. We lost all the other pages. So let's not be scared. We can always undo, and then we have our pages. So instead of trying all the pages, instead of applying all the pages, we are going to apply them one by one. So this is going to be for the heading, and this is going to be for the cover page. This is going to be for the, we'll apply this one to the second page. You can choose which ones you want to repeat so that you have a consistent feel in your design. Let's select this one too. Or you can just choose to duplicate by selecting this little tab over here, this little dots, these 3 little dots over here, and then you duplicate the page, or you can just press Command D or Control D to duplicate the page if you want the same page multiple times. And you can, if you don't want it, you can go back and then add more designs. So let's say we are done, but we don't want the red colors. We want the brown colors because we want to be consistent across our brand. What do? I'll select this red color, come here, because every color I've used in this design already is appearing in this color tab over here. So when I select the design, I see all the colors I've used in the design. I've used this brown over here, so I'll select the brown. Okay, so sorry, there's an issue over here. I see what is happening here. Do you guys realize that the lady's face is in between or a sort of inside the the text. So the text is there, but the lady is on the text, and it looks like wherever you put the lady, you can still read the text without any disruption. I'll show you how that works. It is quite simple, but that is not our focus yet. So let us undo that. I'll remove it from there. So you realize that the text is covered. Let me just show you. Okay. So if you want that effect to happen, what you do is that you copy this thing. You copy this thing, this document over here, this text over here. Copy it, paste it, and then you apply the same method about alignment to it. So you select this other text, you go to position, come to the alignment part, you press middle, and then you press center, and then now you've aligned the two texts together. Now let's position them again. So these are two texts I've selected. When you go to layers, you see that I've selected it. This is one, this is the other one. So what you are going to do is that you are going to make sure one of the text is behind the lady. So this text is behind the lady. The first one is behind the lady. And the second one is above her. Technically, it's above her because it's on top of her, right? Because it's at the topmost part of the layers. So you select this layer, this second text, and then you go to effects. When you go to effects, you will come to outline. This place, this is a quick one, okay? Please pay attention. You come to outline, you apply an outline to the page, and then you see that there is an outline. But that's not all. That's not all. Let me reduce the outline a bit to make it classy. And I'll change the color for it to be seamless. I'll let the color look. I'll change the color of the outline. You can change the color of the outline right beneath the thickness. The thickness something. So you select the color and then you change it to the original color in there. Now, how do you make the lady visible? Because now the lady is in between the two texts. She's in the text below and the text above. So to make the one above, to make her visible through the one above, you select the one above. Let's make sure that it's selected. You select the one above, and then you go to this color option, and then you remove the color. How do I remove the color? Hey, I forgot to know. Wait, oh. You remove the color in the, let me see. This shouldn't be difficult. You there, let me not do too long, okay? We'll come back to this one. We'll come back to how to remove the color. But it's, let me see something. Let me see the effects. No, it's not working. Let's take care of it later, okay? We'll come back to that. So for now, let's just maintain this one. Instead of the lady, we are going to put glasses over there. We are going to put the glasses over here to add to our presentation. We'll come here, put the glasses somewhere here to achieve consistency. We are going to change this color to the brown we used initially. And we are going to select change all to apply to all the other pages in the design. Now you see this is happening. Now let me show you one other thing that can work. Okay, maybe you want the lady to remain. Let me delete this. Maybe you want the lady to remain in the picture. You want the lady to remain in the picture. So you want the lady to remain in the picture, but the color is too bright. You want to change the color. Do you know what you're going to do? You just select the lady. You see there are some colors above here. Select the red color and then change the red color to the color brown. And you see immediately every red color in the lady's picture has been changed. This sounds like magic, right? But that's what Canva can do for you. Let me show you what you do again. You select the lady's picture. When you select the lady's picture, in the control bar, you see the color red over there, or any other color you want to manipulate. There are other brown colors in there. The lady's skin is brown. Maybe you want to change the lady's skin to blue or something. If you select the blue color, let's see what can work. If you select the brown color, let's see what can work. You see you've changed the lady's face to blue. So you are just manipulating the colors just like that. So we want to change, it's a brown we are, it's a red we are focusing on. We want to change the red to brown. So you see that her lip gloss, everything has become brown now. And now we are having some kind of consistency in the colors. Maybe you want to edit it further, you go to the adjust tool. You can come and change the colors in this area too. Maybe I want to add a little contrast, a little brightness. For those of you who know a little more about photo editing, you can come and change all of those settings in here. With this one, it's a different topic on its own, how to edit a photo. So let's reset the tools. Let's reset the tools. All I need is the red. I'll just go here, reset the tools. All I need is the blue color. And then just like that, we have this. But of course, this design is not, let me see. It's okay. Let me keep it somewhere here. Where should I keep it? Let me move this one and keep it here. Okay. Now, we could go on and on and on and on to replace all the content in here over here, but that's going to take too much time. We can use that same time to do several other things. But at this point in time, I don't know what questions you have. If there are some questions you have, you can ask me. Or if there's another kind of trick or another kind of effect you would want to achieve in Photoshop, in Canva, you can ask me. Otherwise, I may continue teaching things that you already know, and you may not get exactly what you want. So please, you can unmute yourself if there is a tool, if there is a, what do you call it? If there is a, if there is a feature or something you want to understand in Canva. But okay, I promised you that I was going to teach you how to do this effect, this outline effect in there. So what I wanted to do was to use the same technique I've been using over here. So let's say you have an image like this, okay? Let's say you have an image like this, and then you have this lady here on top of the image, but you don't want it to look like she's blocking the image. You want other parts of the image, the outline of the image to reveal. What you do is that you go to position, you select the box, you copy the box, you paste it there, but you see that it's not aligned with the first one. So you come and select the second box again, you press Control, you select the second box, you go to arrange, you align them in the middle and in the center. Then you come back to the first box, which is on top of the lady. Then you go to color. When you go to color, you will come here and then remove the color. Okay. But before I remove the color, you go to outline and then add a stroke or add an outline to it. If you want to add an outline, it's just beside the colors of the elements you are trying to manipulate. This button over here is used to add an outline or strokes to the color. You can change the size of your stroke over here. You add this stroke to it. Maybe you set the stroke size, the stroke color, which is the circle, the hollow circle in here. You select the stroke color to the same color of the text or the box. Then you come and then you select the color of this image of this box, and then you remove the color. We finished the work, but I know a lot of you didn't understand, so we are going to do it again. We are going to do that again. I said that you want to achieve something like this in Canva, where although the text is there, we will use the text later. I've forgotten how to do the one for the text, but I'm sure that we'll be able to figure it out. Even if I am unable to teach you, you can practice and then find it out by yourself. But it's not a difficult thing. So instead of using the text, I'm going to use something like a box to achieve the same effect. So let's copy the lady's image over here into this blank page. We'll copy the image over here. And then we are going to add a box to the image. Because the lady's color is red, Canva automatically selects red for you, but let's use a different, in fact, let's maintain the red, okay? So now the box is covering the lady's face. I want it to go behind her. So I'll go to position. I'll either go to the arrange and then select to back so that the box will go behind the lady. Or I'll go to layers and then drag it behind the lady. Then I'll duplicate this box. You can press this button and then duplicate the box. Then you use the control button to select the second box, which is behind the lady. You can do it in the layers, but in the layers tab, right? Because right now the lady is covering the second image, so you can't have direct access to the back. So you use the layers tab to select the two images. Then you come to arrange. When you come to arrange, you go to middle and then you go to center to align them in the same position. Then what do? Now you come to the first box, which is on top of the lady. Make sure your layers are in view. You select the first box. Then you come to this place beside the color of the box. Press stroke, add a little stroke to it. Change the color of the stroke to the color of the box, which is red. Then you select the original color of the box, which is just beside the color of the stroke. And then you remove it by selecting this button, this particular place. It's called, you see, there are a lot of colors you've already used in the design, right? But this option allows you to remove color. They've written no color over there. So you select it, and now, okay, we are not really getting the effect that we want because it's a text box. But for you to see what we have done over here, let me change the color for you. So I'm going to change the color to, let's say, blue, and I'm going to change the background to red. I'm going to change the background to blue too, and I'm going to remove the color from the first one. So this is what we are trying to achieve, right? So when you have this, you realize that the lady is in the box, but she is inside. She's in between two boxes, but it looks as if she's, I don't know how to describe it, but this is exactly what we can achieve with this tool, with this illustration we have over here. Like I mentioned, I'm just finding difficulty doing the same thing for the text, but there is the same idea behind. You realize that this text is just an outline, and then this text is full of colors. So if you find a way to have only an outline instead of a text, find a way to have an, oh, okay, I think I see what is happening here. Or no, I don't think so. I don't think I see. So what's this? I see what is happening over here. So instead of removing the color from the text like you did for the box, over here you come to the effects and then you use a holo effect. So you don't even need to use an outline, you use a holo effect. So this is the text, how it looks like. But when you select a holo effect, it creates an outline for the this one. So this is even easier than I thought. So once you create the holo effect, you make sure that one of the designs is above the image. One of the text is also below the image. You select the two texts this way. You come to your arrange, use the middle and the center tabs to align your text, and just like that, you have the feature I'm talking about over here. So you see, yeah, that is how to achieve this feature in here. Like I mentioned, I may rant over and over and over about things you may already know, but if there are questions you want to ask, you can ask me. If there is something you want to, if there's a question you want to ask, you can ask, and then I'll see how to do it. But before that, let me show you one other trick. There is this feature called color overlay in Photoshop. It helps you change the color of items to suit your color. Let's say you have a zoom, you have designed you've designed a flyer, and then you want to use the zoom logo in there. You want to use this zoom logo in the design, but you don't want to use the color blue. What I'll do is I'll just copy this image from Google, paste it in Canva. I'll paste it in Canva. So you see this is blue, right? This is blue. In fact, let me change the background for you to see clearly what I'm trying to say. Let me change the background to black. So we have this Zoom logo over here, but we want to change the color. We are going to apply a color overlay, but there is no feature in Canva called color overlay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to manipulate the logo by going to the edit and then adding an effect called duotone. So duotone will help me manipulate the colors in this image. You can't use this. You can use this color option. Okay, you can use this color option by just selecting white, and then off you go. But you see that it's not completely white. It's a little gray. So to achieve a full white, the duotone option will make it easier for me. So you go to the edit tab, tab in this panel, and then you go to the effects in the effects tab in this panel. You select duotone. Then you come to custom. You see you can change it to different colors, right? But you come to custom, and in this case, I'll make all blacks white, and then I'll make all whites white, or I'll make all whites black. But if you make all whites black, you just manipulate it. But at the end of the day, what you want to achieve is that you want to make the logo white. So instead of blue like this, I just use the duotone option, come to custom, manipulate the colors by selecting the dark colors. You see there are shadows and then there are highlights. You manipulate the shadows for the original color. You manipulate the shadows, and that is going to manipulate the original color of the design. So I'll select the original color, and then I will change it to a. So you can change it to any other color that you want to use. You can change it to blue, you can change it to red, anything. You can just use the color spectrum, and then you have this disco effect over here. Please, not a video. I'm the one who is sliding. You get what I'm trying to say. So you can always change colors in your design, just like you're able to change this lady. This lady too. Instead of using this color panel or this color tools, you can go to edit, use the duotone, and then apply different effects to it. But you can also use custom and then change the shadows to red or anything. This is not looking so nice. It's looking like a ghost. So we don't need that. But that is the idea behind it. If you want to manipulate the colors of your design, you can use the duotone option. And there are several other tools in here you can use. I have spoken too much. Please, I need your anything you'd like me to talk about. If there is a certain design tool. Oh, background removal. Okay, background removal. Somebody is asking for background removal. So in Canva, you can remove the background of images. But before I even go to the background removal, here's what Canva can do for you. You see this thing, right? Canva has made it possible such that if you lack inspiration on how to create a design background, you just use this magic background editing tool. You select it, and it's going to generate a background for you automatically based on the kind of content you have on your design. But I think this tool is still in the process of development. So because it's not always that it gives me the kind of background that I like, but sometimes it gives me spectacular backgrounds. And let's wait and see what background Canva is going to give me. So Canva, okay, this is giving me something here. I don't know if you see the effects over here. Maybe let me use a different tool. Let me go to a different design, and let me use the magic tool to, let's see. Let me use the magic tool to create a different background for this design. I'll just press magic BG, and it's going to create a new background for me. So you see, it has created a new background for me, but like I said, it's still in the development phase. But there are times where you can really get something good for the design that you have. Maybe let's try for this one too, to see if it can give us something better. To be able to use magic background, you should select the background first. So let's use the magic background tool for this one. So you see, it's giving you some kind of backgrounds, some futuristic backgrounds, some noisy gradients background in there, just to add a touch to what you are doing. But if you don't like it, it's not mandatory. Just use the background that you want and you are good to go. So like I said, I think it's still being developed, and this may not give you the best of backgrounds, but it's still something you can use if you are lacking inspiration on what exact background to use. There are other features in Canva. Okay, somebody was asking for background remover. So I have this. I uploaded a picture of Andy over here. Andy is on the call. Andy is going to walk you through Photoshop, I think tomorrow. Yes. So there's Andy. I want to remove Andy's background and let only him remain. All I just do is that when I select Andy's picture, there is a tool over here called background remover. You just select it and Andy's background is removed. Just like that, Andy's background is removed. And you can crop it to the size you want. You can also double click on it, change the way it's looking, and then like that. Now, there are several other tools in Canva which you would find fascinating. So you see, in this picture, Andy is standing behind a car, but the car cannot be visible. When you try to drag, the car, part of the car is not visible. When you try to drag, it only enlarges the image. But we want all parts of the car to show. So we want AI to extend the image of this picture so that all the parts of the car can show. What do we do? You just select Andy's image, go to the edit tool, and then look for a tool which says Magic Expand. This tool called Magic Expand. When you select Magic Expand, you can drag, you can use either freeform or use a pre-selected dimension for your extension. So I'm going to use freeform. So when I select this, the nodes of the picture, or let me say the corners of the picture, I'm going to freely extend it to what I want it to look like. So let me just extend it a bit. Let me extend it just a bit for it to look realistic, because the more extension you have, the more AI is going to create something for you, and the more the potential, the higher potential you're not going to get something that you like, because it's AI. So let me just extend it a bit, and then press this expand tool over here, and let's see what AI is going to get for me. Now, while it's waiting, it's going to create multiple. It's going to give you multiple options to choose from. This isn't so good for me. I don't know whether it's a tree that AI puts over there. This is also not good for me, but this looks very good for me. You see, AI is creating parts of the image, but it's not as perfect as it would be. I don't know whether there's an exhaust pipe or there's a broken light, but at least AI has been able to give us something. That is the idea behind Magic Expand. It adds parts of the images that you wish were there. So let's say a cropped image. Let me see. Crop. Let me see. I'm looking for. I want to create a false image and then use Canva to edit it so that you understand the capability of this tool I've just shown you. I'm having issues with my screen. What's happening? I can't type in my screen. Anyway, let me see if I can use another one. Let me use the screen. Good. So you see this lady over here. Her image is cut short, but I want the entire head to show. So what do? I'll copy the image, go into Canva. Let me delete this one, paste it in Canva, and then use the Magic Expand tool to add some little hair to her head. So I'll go to edit, go for Magic Expand, and then I will slightly expand this one to the top. I think this should give us enough room to have an AI extension. So let's click expand and see what will happen. You're going to get about 4 variations of it. If you don't like it, you expand again. If you don't like it, you apply the tool again. So do you see what has happened over here? The lady has artificial hair attached to her hair now, and there are variations. You choose which one you like, and you can go with it. So sometimes when I'm a designer, and of course, yes, I'm a designer. Sometimes when people send me pictures to use for flyers, their head is cut short, their arms are cut short. You see, they are wearing suits, but the arm of the suit is cut short because it is truncated. And the kind of design you want to do, it won't be nice if the part of the person's hand is cut short. So what one way to work around that is to use this expand tool. So that's how it comes in handy when you are doing some designs. Just like you've seen for this illustration, you can apply it in other challenges you find. And let's try and use another Canva tool over here. So you see behind Andy, there are some human beings over there, right? There are some human beings behind Andy. Let's see if we can remove those people from the picture. So you select the eraser tool over here, or magic eraser tool. When you select the magic eraser tool, you get 2 options. You have the pixel eraser or the magic eraser. The magic eraser removes some parts of the design without blotting out the whole thing. But the pixel eraser cleans part of the design, so you won't have access to it again. We are not looking for the pixel eraser. We are looking for the magic eraser. So you select magic eraser. We want to remove these people from the image. So what do? I'll reduce the size, the brush size a bit. And then I will press erase. You see that those guys will leave your image and you have a clean image. Just like that. Those guys are gone. We want to remove the modeling club from the guys, from Andy's shirt. Let's use the erase tool to remove it. There's some little thing that remained over there. We don't like it. So let's reduce the brush size and then clean that one too over there. And there you have it. Andy is having a clean white shirt, no inscription. Maybe you have a car, you are selling the car, you don't want the number plate to show, or this can be used for bad things, right? People who don't have ethics can use this tool for bad things, like they'll steal somebody's image and then they'll remove the watermarks from them and then they'll make them their own. And it's not a good thing. If you're a designer, you should observe ethics, right? You should observe ethics in designing. And you can use these tools to create fake documents. These are some of the temptations you're going to get if you're a designer. People will come to you to fake documents for them. Try and desist from it, because when they get into trouble, they are going to find out who did the design for them and they are going to be cooked. So let's erase this number place from there. Sometimes these tools don't do well. Instead of removing, they give you another thing. And that makes it difficult to work with sometimes, but it's done quite a perfect job, not so perfect. But there are other tools you can use to do some of these AI tricks, like Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom, and all that. They can give you more enhanced, or they can give you enhanced versions of these AI tools. But as for now, the focus is Canva. Canva is going to give you just what you need to do a professional design. What other tool is there? When you check Canva, there are several other tools. So you see, we want to remove his background completely. Let's see the background generator to maybe a beach. We want to give him a new background. So we are using the background generator tool to give him a beach. I don't know what other text to add. So let me just generate to see if we can give Andy a beach vibe. So there's Andy at the beach. You have multiple variations for your choosing, and you can choose, but this one looks a little fake. It doesn't look too real. But I mean, depending on the kind of prompts you give to the AI feature, or depending on the kind of prompts you give to the AI, you'll be able to get better looking images than this. This is just to give you an idea of what you can achieve with Canva. There are several other tools in there. You can remove the background with this tool over here. You can also grab some things from Canva. So maybe you see this thing over here, this Toyota logo over here. Let's see if we can grab it and put it somewhere else. So I'll use the brush tool, brush over this Toyota logo, and then see if we can move it around. Let's grab this Toyota logo and see where else we can put it. So we've been able to grab our Toyota logo. It is going to a different place. Maybe let's put it on Andy's shirt. And Andy now has a beautiful Toyota logo shirt. Isn't it amazing? Yeah. So the Toyota logo, the Magic Grab works with by a combination of different tools. It uses the what do you call it? The eraser tool, and then it also uses I don't know. Now let's see if we can change the Toyota logo tool into something else. So I want to, let me go back. So this Toyota tool, I want to change it into a flower or something else. Magic Edit. I'm going to select this Toyota tool. Maybe instead of a Toyota tool, we can put something like a whistle. Let's do whistle. Let's generate a whistle for our Toyota logo. I think Canva doesn't understand what whistle means, but that's the idea. You can select an item in Canva and then change it into something else. You can also change images to videos. There's a new tool I'm just seeing. So let's generate a 3-second video with this photo by Andy. Maybe Andy. Okay, so there's an issue with this image, so we are not going to use it. Let's see if we can try another image. Let's see if we can use this image to generate a video. See, or I think, hold on, hold on a second. Let me. That's not working. Oh, okay. When it has a human face, it won't work. So I don't know what else I can use. Let's say, okay, let's use a house. Let's put images, right? Images, photos. Let's put this over here. Let's generate a video out of this image and see what can work for us. If you don't want Canva to use its own prompts, you can use your own prompts in the other tab over there. Oh, this isn't as cool as I thought it would be, but I'm sure with the prompts that you give to it, you can get something better. So you realize that the video is moving, the book is moving, giving you a video kind of vibe. But that is the idea. You can convert images to video. So what other tools can you use in Canva? Let's go here. Maybe you don't want to use any templates in Canva. You want to let Canva design everything for you from scratch. You just go to Canva AI over here in your home tab. You go to Canva AI, and then you describe what you want to create. Let me say an Instagram carousel. What's the topic? now asked us to use. Even now himself is not on the call anymore. Chat. Somebody is asking if the feature is only available for Pro. Most of the features are available for Pro, but they are also available for the free version, just that you have to use them. You have to use them. There are limitations to how much use you can do for them. Let's quickly create where's my camera? We are going to create a carousel, an Instagram carousel. On the topic a five page Instagram carousel on a topic guide to effective productivity. Let's see what Canva can do for us. So in this case, just like you would use ChatGPT to generate something, you are using Canva to generate ideas. So Canva is asking you, what style would you want to use? Canva is giving us an idea like this. It's giving us templates we can use. So let's choose this style Canva is giving to us. And okay. Yeah. So you see that it has designed a page. It has designed a page for us. But I think there's a little challenge over here. Canva is still developing its AI tool, so it's not all of the things they are going to get very correctly. But the idea is that you can also use Canva AI to generate designs without having to design them from scratch. You can use it to do so many other things. When you go to Canva AI, when you go to this tab on the homepage, you see so many things you can do with Canva. You can code with Canva. You can create games with coding. So many things that you can do, but they are not relevant for today's conversation. And so when you have time, you go through Canva and you explore them for yourself. There are so many potentials Canva can achieve. I may not be able to exhaust all of them, but what I think would be relevant for you to design, you have them already. And if there is anything you want to design, there are templates available. Maybe you want to design a letterhead. There are many templates available for you to choose. You just change the color. You want to design a business card. There are many business cards available you can use. See, these are templates you can use to design your own business card. Simplest, maybe you want to do an email. So these are email templates available for you to use. So when people send you emails and you're wondering how were these guys able to design this very beautiful looking email, is because they have design tools. You can use different email platforms for them. You can use Zoho, you can use MailChimp, all other emails, but Canva is one of the ways to get your design. So you can get an email which looks like this, and you can do your own design with Canva. But the trick, or the one thing about this email design in Canva is that you can't send emails in Canva. The best you can do is to design it in Canva, and then you download it as an HTML. It's quite technical, but if you don't want to involve yourself with the technical stuff, you just export it to Gmail. Okay, you connect a Gmail account to your Canva. I think currently it's only Gmail that you can directly connect to Canva, and then you can also connect MailChimp. I'm sure some of you know MailChimp. So if you connect your Gmail accounts to your Canva, you can use the template straight inside your. You can put your template straight into your Gmail and then start using it as a template. Right? I think that's cool. What else can you design? There are so many inspirations, and you just think out loud on what you would want to, what design need you would want to achieve. There are several of them over here. You can design a brochure, a magazine, so many things you can do with Canva, and you'll be good to go. So I think I've been able to do my job over here. I'll take questions and answers. If there is anything you'd like to know, I've seen a lot of people have dropped from the call. How do I insert an image into a shape to fit? How do I insert an image into a shape to fit the orientation of the shape? Okay, so if you want to insert an image, where is our design page? So maybe you want to fit an image into a circle. So you come to elements. Okay, come to elements. Look for frames. Okay, look for frames, or you can just go through these ones. Go through these ones. Look for frames. You can look for picture frames over here. When you go to the frames, what shape would you want? There are different kinds of frames in here. All these frames, you can put pictures in them. Maybe it's a circle you want. Just select the circle. Look for the image you want to find. Maybe Andy. I'm going to put Andy's face. So the design we did for this workshop, this is the frame that I used for Andy's face, or for the three of us, our faces. So you select it, and you select the frame and you drag your picture into it. When you drag Canva, when you select the picture, once you drag it and then you hover it over the surface of the image, it automatically clips it into the frame. Okay. Then if you want to expand it, you double click on it, and then you now expand the image to fit the frame, and you get you optimize this to have the size you want it to have. You resize it to the size that you desire, right? So this is it. We have a frame. If you don't like this frame, you can use several other frames. You can use other frames. You go. Let me cancel it. No, sorry. Elements. Sorry. So there are several other frames. You can use a phone frame, laptop. All of those things are there for you to use. Let's see, which image can I drop into the frame? Let's see photos. You can drop this photo into it, and it's as simple as that. There are a lot of frames available for you to choose from to add. Daniel is asking for how to design a banner. So the same way you can design a flyer or a carousel, you can design a banner. Let's say you want to design a banner and you want to use a dimension of your own. Okay, you want to use a dimension of your own. Let's say you want to use 5 feet by 10 feet. You want to design a 5 by 10 feet banner, or a 30 feet by 40 feet banner. Now, Canva is a web-based design tool, which means that you cannot, which means number one, you need internet to design on Canva. And number two, everything is processed in the cloud. So you have to upload your stuff to the cloud before you can process them. So because of this, there are limitations to the amount or the sizes of things you can design. For instance, you cannot design a billboard directly in Canva. What you can do is a trick that you need to pay attention to. Instead of putting maybe your billboard is about 10 meters by 20 meters. You don't need to put 10 meters by 20 meters into Canva. You can scale it down. So you can scale it down by, let's use smaller numbers for example's sake. Let's say you want to design a 10 feet banner by a 5 feet banner, 5 by 10 feet banner landscape, right? What I will do is that I will scale it down by 3. So before I scale it down by 3, number one, Canva does not okay, let's start over. Maybe you want to design a 10 feet banner by 5 feet banner, right? What you do is that you first go to add a new image, or you can start all over on a new page. You just go to create. You go to this place, create, right? When you go to create, they are going to ask you what you want to create. So you input your own size. You come to custom size over here. You can access this anywhere in Canva. It's not a difficult thing to find. The same way you can access it from this, you can access it from this place. You just click on this. If you click on the plus, it's just going to replicate this for you. But if you want a new design, you click on the more, you go to custom size. But if you've not created a design yet, you just go to create, the create button over here. You look for custom size, and then you put your size in here, then you start creating. But you see, Canva doesn't have feet. It only has pixels, inches, millimeters, and centimeters. So what we'll do is that we'll go and create, we'll go and look for how many feet in inches can we put in, how many inches will be in feet. I'm tired, that's why I'm making mistakes. So let's say you want to find out how many inches make 10 feet. So you do 10 feet to inches in Canva, in Google, you get 120 inches, right? But you see what will happen. When you put 120 inch, you select inches first here, inches, and then you put 120 inches. But you see, Canva is telling you that the dimensions must be at least 0.4 inches and not more than 83 inches, which means that you can't put 10 feet directly into Canva or 120 inches directly into Canva. So what you do is that you scale it down. So after I've found out that 10 inches in Canva, I found out that 10 inches in Canva equals, 10 feet in Canva equals 120 inches. I scale it down by 3. So 120 divided by 3 is what? 40. So I'll go and put 40 inside the width. So the 40 represents the 10 feet. Then we are looking, so it's a 10 by 5 feet banner, right? So let's go and look at how many inches make 5 feet. 5 feet in inches. That is 60 feet. 60 inches. So we want to scale down the 60 inches to 60 divided by 3. We want to scale it down by 3. That is 20. So we come and put 20 over here. So you have 10 feet by 5 feet represented by 40 inches by 20 inches over here. When you finish, then you scale it back. So we'll see how to scale it back. So you create a new design over here. So all the principles and then elements we added over here, all the methods we use to create these designs, you can come and use that method to create your own banner over here. But you can also look for templates. So maybe, what banner do you want to create? Church flyer or church banner. You will find a lot of them over here, and then you choose which template works for you. If none of the templates is nice for you, you can start from scratch, or you can tell AI to give you a background to start with. So we want to describe our background, a church service flyer, a church service background, right? It's going to, based on its own capabilities, give you a background that may be useful for church. So this is the background that's giving you. We don't like this one. Okay, we don't like this one. But the idea is to create something which will, the idea is to use AI to give you something, our inspirations, right? If you don't like that, you can come to the elements, look for backgrounds. You find a background for yourself, drop it, and then you replace it. Several images are here for you to use as backgrounds. There is no limit to what you can achieve. So you just look for those tools, start the design process over, guess what you want, and then export it. So now that you have a banner, if you export it this way, it's going to be small. So what you do is that when you are downloading the banner, you see we scaled it down by 3, right? We scaled it down by 3. So what you are going to do is to increase it by 3. This is 1. So you increase it by 3, or you just drag it. You increase it by 3, or you just drag it. You just use a slider to drag it. So you get to a scale, the scale you want. So when you expand this, you are going to get 10 by 5 feet banner, just that it's going to be in pictures. Okay, you can't get a PDF version. The reason is that if you use a PDF, if you download it as a PDF, you can't scale it. The only way you can scale your design is to use a PNG or a JPG. So PNG or JPG, you scale it by 3 and then make sure the quality is set to 100% so that you won't lose quality. Now, when you give this picture to the people who are doing the design as a file, not as a normal WhatsApp picture, as a document, they will be able to print it for you and you won't lose the quality that you want in your design. So that is the basics of how to design a banner. Anything at all you've learned in the use of Canva, you can apply that to your banner design and you get a perfect banner for your work. So is there another question? Oh, okay. Daniel asked because is there a feature in Canva where you can achieve a better resolution? Okay, so I think that answers you too. It answers you too, David. So when you do it, you scale it up. No, I think, hold on. You say, is there a feature in Canva where you can achieve a better resolution when you want to print? Yeah, so that's the trick I've given to you. You scale it, you divide the dimensions by 3 or 4 or 5. You divide it up to the number that you can get Canva to support. When you finish, you scale it up by that number. But the good thing is that when you export a design in PNG format, whether it is as big as the design or not, so long as it's in PNG format and it has enough quality to make it sharp, when you send it to the person to do the printing as a document, not as a normal WhatsApp picture, as a document, when you send it to the person as a document, the person will be able to expand it in their Photoshop tool or CorelDRAW tool, and then they'll be able to print it. So the most important thing is to send a file as an original document and not as a normal WhatsApp image. I hope that is okay. And but to be able to achieve the exact size, even if it's a picture, is to scale it down before inputting it, the dimensions in the Canva, and then scale it up once you are done with your design. I think I am done here. So thank you all so much for joining this call. I don't know if there is any question to ask, but I think we'll be done here and then we can continue another time if there is anything. Thank you very much, Daniel. So yeah, like I mentioned, there are several tools in Canva. I cannot exhaust all of them today. So take your time, go through Canva. We were supposed to go through Affinity today. Affinity is just like Photoshop, but because of time, we will not be able to go through Affinity. Maybe some other time we'll do that. But if there is another time within the course of the week, or if we ever get a chance to do this tutorial again, we'll try and then tackle that one. But Affinity, this is how Affinity looks like. It's very cool to use, very easy to use. I find it easier to use more than Photoshop itself. So thank you all so much for your time, and thank you for joining the call up to this time. If you didn't understand anything, we are going to send the recording links. Maybe, I don't know how you're going to have access to this. I don't know how you're going to have access to it. But you can check back later on the SPE Ghana page. You can go back to SPE Ghana YouTube page, and I'm sure in about a week's time, we would have uploaded all the videos over there, because a lot of you who joined, we don't know you, and so we don't have your contacts to send the links to you. But okay, I can also drop my contact in the chat box so that you send me a text if you want to. You can send me a WhatsApp message, and if the link is ready, we are going to share them with you so you can go over this tutorial. Yeah, that is it. I've dropped my phone number in the chat box. If you have anything to say to, please, you can unmute and then say it. Thank you very much. Please, if you don't have anything to say, at least let me know that I've done a good job or something, so that I'll see how to tackle the presentation when there's another time, when there's another opportunity for me to do that. You can give me your feedback. Can give me your feedback on what you have learned or some of the challenges you had at first that you've been able to resolve now. If everybody's silent, it's one of two things. Either you understand everything or I confused you. I'm hoping it's not a second one. But thank you very much for your time.
Mr. Derek.
Yes.
Okay, so I asked the question, but my phone off, so I'm not turning it on.
The question is about.
It's about printing. You see, sometimes maybe a client would want you to print the flyer. Sometimes I would want to know the resolution, because sometimes you tend to print and the resolution changes.
So if the recording is available, you see the explanation I gave, but it's quite simple. So most of you use Canva on your phone. So everything you've learned on the laptop, you can do the same thing on your phone. There is no difference in what you can do on the phone than what you can do on the app. Just that because the phone is smaller, some of the things you have to look for them. Some of the apps you have to look for them. But let me go over it again. If you are designing a big banner, a large format design like a banner or a billboard, check the dimensions of that billboard. If it's 10 feet by 5 feet, go to Google, convert 10 feet by 5 feet into inches. You are going to get 120 feet by 40 feet or so. Or is that correct? You're going to get 120 feet by 60 feet, right? Now you can't put 120 feet by 60 feet in Canva because it's too huge. So what you do is that you scale it down. So what I do is I scale it down by 3. So I'll divide 120 inches by 3. I'll divide 60 inches by 3. Then I'll get what 60. I'll get what 120 divided by 3 is what 40, right? Yes, it's 40. And then 60 divided by 3 is 20. So instead of putting 120 by 60 in Canva, I'll put 40 by 20 in Canva. When I finished with my design and I'm exporting it, I'll export it as PNG. I will not export it as PDF. You export it as PNG, and then you increase the size by 3, because when you were designing, you reduce the size of the design by 3. So now that you're exporting it as PNG, you reduce it by 3. And when you are sending the file to the person doing the printing, you don't send it as a normal WhatsApp image. You send it as a document. Or you can use Google Drive to share. You can share it via Google Drive or WeShare or Telegram or something like that. But the point is that it should go as a document, not as a normal image. And that is going to help you maintain your resolution. So if the image is too big such that even dividing it by 3 won't give you the smallest size to put in Canva, divide it by as much as you can and scale it up by the highest Canva can give you. Canva can give you up to 3.12 something. So you scale it down by as much as you can, scale it up when you are done editing, and then send it as a file to the person doing your printing, and you should achieve a good resolution in your printing. Does that answer your question?
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Okay, thank you very much. We are done, and see you all tomorrow for Photoshop tutorials. Andy is going to lead us in that one, and I believe you are going to learn a lot. Andy is a very good designer, and I'm sure he'll be able to teach you so many things. Thank you, and then enjoy the rest of your day.